Hello and welcome to Is This England, a show where we talk about old England games and ask just how England was this.
Today, we're back again for more 2010 World Cup action, where England's failing stars have a chance to save their campaign. They're facing top of the table Slovenia in a do or die matchup.
Time can do. Baby, you mean everything to me.
Oh, it's do or die, Nick. I'm so nervous.
What are we going to do?
I don't know. We'll either do or we'll die.
Yeah, those are our two options right now. That's all of England's options as well. It all hinges on this.
It does. Just before we get into this show, bit of begging for attention that we always like to do now. You can find us on social media at isvis_England. That's on Twitter and Instagram. And you can get in touch with the show via email at isthisenglandpod@gmail.com. Also, very important that you get those 5-star reviews in on your podcast platforms of choice. Now, we're going to move forward to the time capsule. 2010. We're, it's quite 2010 heavy in our time capsule because this is the third time we've gone back to this year because we're slowly working our way through the World Cup 2010 in South Africa. Let's see if we can keep the quality high.
Yeah.
Nick, do you have a choice for 2010 time capsule? Number 3?
Yeah, you're damn right. I mean, what could be higher than England winning the World Cup?
Spoiler alert. It's do, it's not die.
Oh, it happens. We all remember this, don't we? Don't worry about it. So, yes, I am putting in the 2010 World Cup win for England in the T20 cricket.
Oh, you tricked me there.
I zigged and I zagged.
You led me down the alley, and then is zigging and zagging a cricket term?
No.
Oh, I can imagine it being one.
Yeah. Oh, he zigged and zagged that one. It
Yeah.
went everywhere with a googly.
He did. That's it, a googly, yeah. So, I don't know anything about cricket, but we won the World Cup, did we?
Did, yes. England beat their forever rivals Australia in the final by 7 wickets in Bridgetown in Barbados. This was the first time England have ever won any form of World Cup in cricket.
Okay.
So a much loved sport by the English and English followers, but actually not a great deal of success when it comes to like limited overs cricket. They were led by Paul Collingwood and with superstar Kevin Peterson claiming player of the tournament. It kind of set up a high watermark for English cricket going forward as well.
That's interesting. Do they do test match World Cups?
No, they've tried to make it like a league table basically, where you've got all the test nation playing sides in a table, and every 2 years they'll just take the record of each side against each other. You'll get all sorts of points in terms of how what run rate you won by or anything like that. But then the two play each other in a final, and no one really cares about it. They've tried to make it a bit more interesting, but because Test cricket goes on for so long, you have to have like a month or longer than a month to just play. Every team plays every team, and it's just like it never line up, so you can't ever really do it. But limited overs, they do it. And speaking of the test side, the English test side around this time as well, they retained the Ashes in Australia, winning 3-1. The first time they've ever left Australia. Well, first time they've left Australia with the Ashes since 1987. And a lot of these players from this team transferred over into that side as well. So it's seen as another really good point, another really high-performing team. That test team went to first in the world in the rankings, which is something they'd never done before either.
A golden generation.
It is a little bit, yeah. So we see one of those actually performing in 2010 here as well.
You mentioned Kevin Peterson. Wasn't he part of the famous 2005 Ashes team?
He was indeed. He came in pretty much just before that series, and he's the big superstar, and he changed a lot of the way that cricket is played. I mean, he went into the limited format of the game, the overs way, and was just revolutionary, really, in the way that it's played. And he just kind of went out there and just went, well, I'm just gonna do whatever. He had his Test match debut against Australia in an Ashes series, and he had like some of the world's most feared and famous bowlers coming at him, and he was just hitting them all over the stadium, and they were just like,
no way.
What's this? What's this all about? This isn't right. This isn't what we do when we come to England.
I, again, don't know anything about cricket. I thought he was a bit of a gobshite and a bit of a.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a very, very strange character.
I didn't know he was backing it up though.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, for a lot of people who know a lot more about cricket than I do, they kind of think he's the most talented English cricket they've ever seen. I mean, he's originally from South Africa, but he has family heritage, and England are quite famous for bringing those people over to play cricket for England. And it does slightly lead me on to the other point as well. In this World Cup winning side England have here, they have Owen Morgan, who is originally Irish, and he again has parents who are English. So he kind of transferred over and played for England. And a few years later, he would himself change the way that English cricket is played forever with his own kind of revolution of how the one day team played and the T20 side as well. He picked it up in a real mess of a condition just before one of the World Cups. It was just kind of like the captain resigned and just handed it over to him, and they just performed awfully. And he just said that won't happen again. And in 2019, he was the captain of the side as they won the one day World Cup for the first time in their history as well in England.
A 1-day World Cup.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one
All
day
over in a
interna-
day.
Yeah, yeah, just the one game. There you go. But it was, yeah, an amazing one. And if we do a game from 2019, I think I'll be putting that in because that was an amazing summer of cricket, and it kind of the one day World Cup was brilliant. I always wish I'd have gone to a game. I don't know why I didn't when it was in this country. I would have just gone to anything really. But now I'm like, why the hell didn't you do something like that?
How did you celebrate the win in 2010?
In 2010, I can't. I think it was on, and I was just like, okay, that's good, because it was just like it wasn't like a big thing for me. I liked cricket, but I wasn't like, God, I've got to watch every single thing of it. It kind of changed a couple of years ago. I just wanted to get into it more, and I got tickets to go to the Ashes, and just thought, well, you know what, I'm going to try and be a bit more clued up about this, and that's kind of where it took. And it, in 2019, I managed to go, yeah, I actually know a little bit what I'm talking about now, so I feel I can enjoy this.
Okay, it took you that long. I was thinking I want to learn more about cricket now, but I don't know if I've got 9 years to dedicate to that. I'll be nearly 40. I'm 31 in a week, so maybe by the time I'm 40, I'll know.
But when you go to the 100,
that's your
point.
Kiddie cricket, isn't it? Though
it's still a lot of fun. There's a lot of people who are kind of against the 100 just because of, like you say, it's maybe family friendly or kiddie stuff. But it's like it gets people into watching it still, which I'm happy with.
Like
and
a gateway.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's just a fun day out as well. And yeah, I'm putting a England World Cup win into 2010. Let's hope that we get another one in here this year too.
It would be rude not to.
Yeah.
Another one this year. Oh, no spoilers, but yeah, it's not going to happen. My time capsule for 2010, I was struggling. I came across an episode of Mad Men called The Suitcase. The reason why this popped up, it was part of some list, like the best TV shows of the year 2010, like episode by episode. I think the Lost finale was this year, but I never watched Lost. I still haven't.
No.
But this one, The Suitcase. Did I say suitcase or staircase first time? It doesn't matter.
There's no way of knowing.
There's no cutting. But I've been worried all day about. I've researched the wrong thing anyway. But yeah. I remember watching this episode, The Suitcase, recently. I think it's series 4, episode 8. And me and my partner had been watching Mad Men. And you know, when you just randomly have a break during the series and you're like, I'm loving watching it. You're watching it every day. And then I don't know, you go, something else tonight. And then that turns into like 2 weeks. And then you know, we've got to go back. You've got to go back to it. And then you start to think, was it starting to lose it a little?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think it is. Anyway, let's try this one, The Suitcase. And my mind was blown. It was so good. And I was like, what a return. I'm instantly hooked back in. And I'd kind of forgot about it since. But anyway, when I came across this list yesterday, I found out just a bit more about how highly that episode is rated. It's being called the pinnacle of TV's golden age, this single episode on its own.
Wow.
It's a bottle episode, I think they're called, where it's just like isolated from the rest of the story. I think of Pine Barrens in The Sopranos and The Fly in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you could just take this up, pick it up and, you know, plop it anywhere and it still makes as much sense as whether you watched all the shows before and after. It focuses heavily on the characters of Don Draper and Peggy. I'm not sure that anybody else gets a look in. Their relationship is always fascinating. It's kind of like he's been a boss, he's been a mentor. It's a bit like father and daughter at times as well. You always think that they fancy each other a little. I've not watched it all the way through yet, the series. But yeah, it just focuses on them too, the whole episode. And I think it's at a point when you can see that their relationship is starting to strain because after he gets her, after Don gives Peggy the chance to become what she wants to be and not just like a receptionist or have you an assistant, but a writer, she really flourishes. And then when she gets good enough that she can challenge him, that kind of knocks him back a bit.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, they're just going to fall out or what have you. They have this episode, they get drunk, they spill heart to heart with one another and everything like that. And it does start off aggro. He's angry at her because she can't come up with the perfect sale for the Samsonite suitcase. And this is all set against the cultural backdrop of Muhammad Ali versus Sonny Liston fight. Just an amazing episode. And yeah, I'm glad I came across it, and I'm glad to see how revered it is because it is really good. And I'm, as I say, I'm still watching Mad Men, not near the end, not at the end of it yet. And I couldn't pick a single fault in the whole series
Yeah.
from top to bottom so far. So I'm thinking it's either going to go really bad towards the end, or people just don't talk about it enough as being up there with Breaking Bad and The Sopranos and those type of things, because pretty perfect.
I think other TV's come along since, and maybe that came along when there was other stuff on as well. I mean, people always knew about it, and I always knew people that watched it and really liked it as well. But it was never something I've gone on to yet, and it's something I'd always like. Yeah, but I'm open to it. It's just I think that's when, like you say, great TV was just coming every single week from all over the place, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I've read about it that I forget the network, say it's ABC or NBC or what have you. They just said we want our own Sopranos and just
Yeah.
reached out and tried to get as many ideas as they can. And it was like, in the wrestling where they're like, we've got to have a new Hulk Hogan, but it's not going to be organic. It's going to be, we're going to make Roman
Yeah.
Reigns. And so they're like, we're going to make sure that this Mad Men succeeds. And it does. John Hamm, who plays obviously Don Draper in Mad Men, the main character, he said of this episode, The Suitcase, I've never ever worked on something and felt the way I did after we shot this episode. That one, I can't even put it into words, which says a lot.
Yeah.
Some really strong episodes, but a standout one, and I think there was a list I saw where it was 7th best episode of TV of all time or something like that. So
That's pretty impressive. That is.
yeah, we got to come back to 2010 potentially if we go through. So we will really be thin on the ground then, but not. They're strong choices. I think a World Cup win and one of the best episodes of TV ever.
How are we going to find stuff to get us to the final?
I know,
What we've just got to really be. We're just going to be like, I went down the pub once in 2010. That was quite fun.
I have thought it's the year I started uni, and
Yeah,
I keep
true.
thinking, do I put that in? And I was like, no one cares. And also, it was pretty shit.
I was going to say only you will be like, oh, remember that? Not really want to.
Yeah. Right then, why this game, Nick? That's got to be. These questions are got to be put to you.
Why this game? Well, go and listen to our USA and Algeria games before diving into this one, because we are continuing our journey through the Capello World Cup disaster brilliant time that England had, clearly. So if you haven't done that, go and listen to them in the archives. Have you done it? All right, we're off then.
We're off. We're off to the races.
Yeah.
The state of football is something that we've covered already on this, but we like to still fill in the gaps and a bit of context. I think the first time we were looking at the whole, as we would usually do, the Prem, the Champions League. Then the
Yeah.
second time, which was the Algeria game, we covered this tournament. We looked at the meltdown of France, the only
Yeah.
team who could really compete with England in terms of shit show
Yeah.
in the 2010 World Cup. And so today we're going to look at the group of death to build us up to the game. The group of death in South Africa 2010 was Group G, which included obviously Portugal.
Yeah.
They are the glue that holds any group of death together, aren't
And
they?
somehow always get out of them as well. It's
Yeah.
like, even when it's like, oh, they finished third, oh, unlucky. Wait a minute. Third place goes through this year.
Maybe it's Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Not just his performance, maybe it's like, no, we need him.
Yeah,
We
it's
need
like,
him in this tournament.
it's like you say, he's not playing Europa League. I'm not being knocked out in the group stage.
Yeah,
it's just not
exactly.
happening. I will go and play for Spain if I have to.
They're like, Portugal are out, Cristiano. He goes, I don't actually see it like that. I don't know. I just can't see it happening. Can you?
He just sits and he's like, no.
no.
He's like, well, can you go in there and argue with him? He's been saying no for 3 hours.
I'm starting to think he's right.
I mean, I've put them through.
Just need to find an opposition now. In this group of death, Portugal, obviously the glue that hold it all together. They are joined by Sven-Goran Eriksson's Ivory Coast, as well as North Korea and Brazil. Now, It's not the strongest group of death, is it? Ivory Coast probably had a really good team around this time.
They did. So you'd have had the both the Toures would have been playing. You would have had Drogba. I think Kalou was playing as well. They had a couple of other players as well. And I think it's because they were so familiar to maybe Premier League watching sides. And you think, you know what? They've not got a bad team actually. They could do something at least. You know, they were always one of those. Oh, you know what? Dark horses.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And there was such a FIFA team for me playing against friends. You know, I've mentioned before Anzi would be my club team for a while because they were just a bit of an unknown. Yeah, good team, man. Yaya Toure, Emmanuel Kone, Czech Tiote.
Oh yeah, Tiote.
Yeah, Javinho as well.
Oh, Javinho with his 10 head. Yeah.
And Eboué as well.
Yeah. Well, a Boué man in there. I remember this World Cup having, for some reason, we just got it in our heads. We were going to do the Panini stickers because I was just leaving university and we were like, got a couple of days left, you know. Not that we've got money to just throw away, but we were just thinking, you know what, why not? The World Cup's coming up. Let's just like try and do something. So like I messaged a mate going, oh, I think I'm going to get the Panini stickers.
Yeah.
And we had like I had a couple of people around ours for like one of our last nights out of uni. So I brought some friends up as well from home. And we were in supermarket buying a load of stickers. And one of my mates was like, oh, getting stickers for you, 12? And I was like, oh, well, you know, we just thought it'd be pretty fun. And then within 3 minutes, he was like, can I have a box, please? Like a box of stickers. And he was like, what? And then my other mate next to him was just like, well, he's got 2. He's bought 2. And I remember we just sat there for the day and just put them all in. And we were determined that a Boué didn't exist.
What do you mean? Because you couldn't find him.
He just wasn't in the stickers. Anyone, and I'm pretty sure, like my mate,
Was there would have been a space for him?
Yeah, he was supposed to be in there, but like we were just like, I've never, like in all the packs we got, the money we must have spent on it that we didn't have, like going into unemployment basically.
I'm convinced that being an adult is just doing things that you wanted to do when you were a kid, and your parents were just like, no. And you just revolve everything about doing that, like around doing that. So, like you say, it starts, wish I could have brought more stickers from the shop. And then when you're like, not 18, 19, 20, something like that, you'll go, I'll get back into stickers. And then if you're really weird with it, you'll continue and like, you'll be like 40 and just smashing it. Like, you know exactly how to do it. All the fun's gone. It's just a joyless experience.
I think I did it for the next tournament. So in 2012, I think I did it. And I want to say I did it up to 16. I want to say I did it up to that as well. But then by the time we got to 16, I was just like, right, how do I do this again? Oh, okay, well, you've got to send away for these ones. You've got to think about this again. And it was just, I know exactly what you mean. You kind of, and you also grow out of stuff as you're growing up in terms of like, well, that's not cool anymore. Stickers aren't cool. This isn't cool. I'm not going to even think about liking that anymore or outwardly say I like it. And then you get to an age where you're just like, well, fucking, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah. And then you may end up having a child, and then you just get to live it through them, don't you? But I imagine that there's like accountancy people out there who like know exactly to the penny how much to spend to give yourself the best chance of like completing a sticker book, and they'll just bulk that order out first, and just joyless, man.
I know,
It's made up scenario. Does that really make you happy? Made up person? It's made up scenario.
You were talking about who doesn't exist.
Anyway, we're on off piece there, but North Korea surely in a group of death. They're going to be the whipping boys.
Yeah, I mean, within a group of death, there's always, unfortunately, that one team where the draw happens. Like, you see it so much in, like, maybe Champions League group stages or World Cups, and you always see, like, their delegates there, and, like, as soon as they get drawn, they've just got, like, hands over the eyes, like, oh, God, what are we going to do?
Was it a Champions League one or an international one where you can see like the guy who's like head of FA or
and he's just laughing, basically.
He's just laughing. Yeah, I think it was a Champions League one.
It may have even been a World Cup one. I don't even know why. Apart from England's group, I've just erased what all of the other World Cup groups are for this next World Cup.
Well, I did Google actually while we were talking. The so-called group of death this year is Germany, Spain, Japan, and Costa Rica.
Okay, well, that's not really. It's 2 really good teams, and 2 you could go maybe one of them will beat a good side at some point, but not really one lined up.
No, that's a bog standard group.
No, it mustn't be that then. It must be Champions League. It's recently, and the delegate was just there smiling and just going, well, we're gonna make some money out of it, I guess.
Yeah. So we got Portugal, Brazil Ivory Coast, and North Korea. How does the group start off then?
It starts off with Portugal and Sven's Ivory Coast, who draw their first game 0-0.
Can we just talk about Sven and the Ivory Coast? Is there a man who like looks less equipped for managing the Ivory Coast than Sven?
Even redder by the time
That's
he's
what I
out
mean.
there.
He would burn.
I think this was the era as well where Sven started fully shaving his head. I never liked
Yeah.
that. I always, unless he's got kind of the stuff around the back and the sides, I never think he looks right. I think he looks terrible.
It does look terrible, but
He looks like a ball bag, doesn't he?
yeah, but I also think that's not his own decision.
Well, you think even that's gone?
Yeah, of course, that's gone, man.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just 'cause he was just like, well, I'll get rid of this bit of it because it's getting too small. Maybe, I don't know.
He looks like such a woodpecker. Oh, look at this picture. Fully bald.
He has got the side bits there, from what I can see.
No, that's so short.
I don't know, but yes,
So sure.
Sven, he will just pop up and be managing these little teams, won't they?
Yeah,
and it's just clearly like, yep, that's a great payday. I'm up for that. Go to the World Cup, yes, please.
Didn't he manage Mexico for a bit?
Oh, that sounds a Sven team, doesn't it?
It seems like a good. I think him being in charge of the Ivory Coast would have been like part of the group of death thing, because a team that good,
Yeah,
and you're talking Sven, this is only 4 years after he was managing England,
yeah.
and you'd think,
Maybe they've got a chance because he can just throw all the players together and just go, you sort it out then.
yeah, Toure and Drogba in the middle of the park together.
Can they do it?
Can they do it?
Maybe that was a big thing. Tiote and Yaya Toure, can they play together?
That sounds like they could though. So they kick off the group against Brazil. No,
They kick off against Portugal and draw 0-0.
brilliant,
yeah.
brilliant. Glad we're talking about it 12 years later.
Yeah. And and then that means Brazil open their campaign against North Korea. Brazil really struggled to break down North Korea. I remember watching
Yeah.
a lot of this World Cup because I was unemployed at the time, and just
Yeah.
watching this and going, "Oh, this will be an absolute shellacking." This was, and North Korea had done well. They defended well, and they only fell behind to a Maicon goal, which kind of like.
Such a good goal.
Yeah, he kind of like cross shot it in at the near post, and the North Korea keeper just missed it. Alano got a second, and they only lost 2-1 in the end.
Mad.
North Korea.
I remember watching that game, settling down to watch that game and being like, right, I'm about to witness the big, like
Yeah.
10, 11, 12-0, because there's not really a bigger, like on paper mismatch. I'm not talking even about the teams, just like the culture of football across
And
those.
yeah.
Must have been North Korea's first World Cup, right?
I think they may have played in '66. I think they may have
You're
even.
joking.
I think they may have even not. Maybe them or South, but one of them knocked out Italy in '66. Is
you know
it
what?
South or
No, North Korea were in the group, and they were in the tournament. They beat Italy.
Yeah, Capello's Italy as well. That was too.
What, in '66?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they knocked Italy out because they were one of the big teams that went out early for England to be like, right, this could be it.
Surely that's too early for Capello.
I don't know. When we watched him in that the Italy game, I think he was quite grizzled by that point, wasn't he? So
Okay, we're getting so sidetracked along the way here, but Brazil really did struggle, and a 2-1 win. I mean, come on, 2-1.
You must be absolutely loving that. And I tell you who's loving it even more: the people of North Korea,
Yeah,
because
the lads.
yeah, they are showing highlights of the game allegedly. A lot of what we're going to talk about right now with North Korea is alleged,
Yeah.
and unless said otherwise, but allegedly they are showing highlights of the game in which they beat Brazil.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? They actually spoke about this on the Football Ramble today.
Oh, really?
Just as an aside, yeah, they literally spoke about this today. But I remember hearing that. But how can you show a 2-1 loss? Well, I suppose you just cut
don't-
out the Brazil goals.
Yeah, you just
don't you?
missed that. It's like a little stick man saves the Maicon goal or something.
Yeah, but then you'd be like,
As soon as that
when that goal goes in, they'd be like, yeah, I mean, they're celebrating, but
they're rushing back, aren't they? Why are they
Yeah.
rushing back? They want to get another one.
I'd be going a lot more crazy if I was in that stadium. We'd be just gone 1-0 up. That kind of look a bit like it's a consolation goal or something.
Well, which it is.
Yeah.
It's them trying to get back into it, isn't it? But yeah, it's
You had the is it the captain as well who was crying in the national anthem? I mean, crying sounds like he broke down in tears.
he is
It's
massively crying. isn't
crying
it?
makes it sound like he stubbed his toe and he's crying. But like, I'm not sure what prompted it. Do you think it was pride? Do you think it was just this is so strange and overwhelming, or was it
It
just
may have
all
been-
alleged?
I know. Well, there is definite footage and pictures of him crying. Jong Tae-se is crying during the national anthems. It's kind of seen as pride, really. Maybe they're kind of being, because I think he was playing in Japan at the time, and it's kind of, well, I've come back to kind of represent my country and to do it against Brazil in a World Cup. It must be incredible, really.
That is good. That is good, to be fair. So, do you want to talk a little bit more about North Korea, because it's a bit of a strange one?
Yeah. There's a couple of weird anomalies that come up with North Korea around this time as well. So North Korea only had 7 out of a possible 12 substitutes registered on the bench at time of kickoff. Unverified reports suggested at least 2 of the players had fled to seek asylum in another African country.
Wow, that is so opportunist.
I know. Although FIFA and North Korea quickly denied this was the case, which was true.
Yeah, who's gonna like admit it? Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. As it turned out, the 4 missing players had been in the squad all along. The coaching staff just omitted their names as it's not expected they were going to feature in the game.
What? Really?
Yeah, so they were just like, probably not going to use these guys in this game. So they just kind of handed over the wrong kind of bit of paper, maybe. So they were just
that's still a bit fishy for me.
yeah, it doesn't sound
They've
right.
just, they've just nobody knows what these players look like because the North Korean football isn't that big. They've just gone, here's 4 blokes.
I wish
That's
actually,
them.
thinking about it, I'd love to have seen what their sticker book would have looked like, their page.
Oh,
That
yeah.
would have been great. That would have been. Yet North Korea were already in trouble ahead of the tournament as well when they tried to register their striker Kim Yong-won as one of their 3 designated goalkeepers.
Kind of remember this as well. Yeah. Why did they do that? Just to try and sneak? Did they not have enough goalkeepers, or was it a sneaky?
So by the looks of it, it was a sneaky because they thought, well, if we get a extra striker on the
Yeah.
pitch and for some reason something happens and we need to play him, we can just bring him on. But FIFA quickly
He
shut.
was registered as a goalkeeper.
But they shut that down because at the time there wasn't any rules about that. You were just like, you take 3 goalkeepers because it's just what you do with these expanded teams now. And there was nowhere really in the rules that you said you have to play them in goal.
Yeah.
You can bring them out.
What? So you could bring on a goalkeeper for a striker or a defender while your goalkeeper stays on.
Well, look at David James, but for City, he came on for
Yeah,
Man
true.
City, didn't he? And he played up front under Stuart Pearce.
True.
So that was the thing. Maybe they were thinking, well, we can go one better than this. Let's bring on a striker.
Former England manager Stuart Pearce.
Yeah.
Of one game. That's so crazy.
Yeah, and so they said that he could play, but he would have to play in goal.
Anyway, round 2 of games in this group of death. Brazil made light work of the Ivory Coast to qualify for the knockout stages. They beat the Ivory Coast 3-1 with Luis Fabiano scoring twice and Ilano picking up another goal before Didier Drogba got a consolation goal. So the group of deaths looking all right for Brazil. They did have Kaka sent off, though, for 2 yellow cards in 3 minutes, meaning he would miss the final group game against Portugal. That means Portugal would play North Korea in round 2 in a game which is probably even more famous than the opener. For all the wrong reasons.
It really is. Yeah. North Korea actually showed the second round game against Portugal live. Now, this is confirmed. This is.
Did we talk? Oh yeah, because we said it was a heavily edited highlights.
Yeah.
That was all they saw in North Korea in the first game.
Yeah.
Is that so? They're like, we did so even
a 2-1 loss is so
they
good.
did so well, and it was like, yeah, okay. The reward is we're going to show this game against Portugal.
So Portugal took a 1-0 lead into half time.
That's great.
Very respectful.
So good.
Disaster soon strikes as Portugal run out 7-0 winners.
Oh God.
How quickly was that feed turned off, do you think? Like live from there. Like what number did they just go, game's over now, football doesn't exist?
Cristiano Ronaldo getting the 7th in that game, I think.
know, yeah.
Oh no, the 6th. Sorry.
I remember, I think I've watched that recently and thought, oh, how many did Ronaldo get? And it was like, just one really near the end. Like he must have been fuming, like, take me off. No, leave me on. I'm not leaving until this.
Yeah, they must have pulled the feed off. That's just a real shame. And we head into the final round of the group of death, round 3 of the fixtures. Bit of a dead rubber, really. You've got Brazil changing a lot of their players and drawing 0-0 with Portugal. That's a disappointing game for the neutral, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Sven signing off with the Ivory Coast with a 3-0 win over North Korea. And yeah, North Korea, there's the aftermath for them isn't great.
Yeah, there's reports from South Korea. So take this with a pinch of salt because they don't get on famously. Stated upon return that
Care to talk more about that?
no. Stated that upon return back in North Korea, the team were publicly shamed. So rumors circulated that the team and manager were forced onto a stage at the People's Palace of Culture in front of 400 government officials, students, and journalists, and subjected to a 6-hour barrage of criticism for their poor performances.
I'm sorry, but they're the whipping boys of the group, and they've done all right. I mean, Portugal 7-0. Yeah, I know. But
And they've seen it at home.
oh,
Thing is, though, qualifying from that group, that must have been like, oh, we only just missed out, actually, because we won that game against Brazil.
that's
We got battered by Portugal.
Yeah,
And it was like, well, 3-0. It wasn't really reflective. Do you know what happened in that first game? We were steady.
Very true, actually. So they've gone in, they've been set up for this, and they're going, well, yeah, you're here for a 6-hour barrage of criticism.
Yeah.
And yeah, mainly about the Portugal game. And they go, well, we did well in the Brazil game. Well, actually,
Yeah.
we told them that you did really well in the Brazil game. So it's a criticism for losing 2 out of 3 games.
Which
6
you were
hours.
expected to win 0.
Yeah, it would have been 9 hours if they wouldn't have beaten Brazil. But
I mean,
that's a bad use of the People's Palace of Culture as well, isn't it? That it's not really
Yeah.
cultural to slag people off for 6 hours.
it's not good culture anyway.
Not good culture.
No, I mean, 6 hours. I mean, at what point you're like, oh, I don't like your hair, your
6 hours. What
face is really annoying me. I hate the way you drink a cup of tea. Like, what are you even saying? Oh, you leave the dishes out. Like,
I hate so much about the way you choose to be. Whatever it is Michael Scott says. That is a long barrage of criticism. Students as well, just getting stuck in.
Yeah, getting in there as well.
Yeah, you lazy gits.
Just throwing their books at them.
Yeah, that's a shame. Led by TV commentator and sports minister Pak Myong Chol. But there were 2 players who missed out on this charade.
Yeah.
Jung Tae-si and An Yong-hak, who are based in Japan. I'll probably get off here and just go back to Japan straight direct.
Yeah. Are you not getting on the plane with us?
Nah.
The J League started, I think.
Busy. Yeah, J League starting soon and got a lot of tidying up to do. Mrs. is waiting. She'll bloody kill me.
I've got to go get her a present as well. I haven't got anything from South Africa yet. I've just got to nip over to another country. I'll pick that up
Vuvuzela.
first. Oh my god.
The players were then asked to step up in turn and publicly criticise their manager, whose name is Kim Jong-un.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking hell. You want to be careful with criticising a man with that name in North
Very
Korea.
true, isn't it?
Yeah. But that's the group of death.
Yeah.
Brazil and Portugal go through. Sven having a lovely old time getting paid for the minimal amount of work. And poor old North Korea just ending really badly. Let's have a look at the build-up to the England game then. So where are England at? Let's have a quick recap. Rewind. That was a nice rewind.
Yeah.
That was me rewinding.
I like that.
We're not cutting that.
That's good, yeah.
Where are they at then? It's not great. It's toxic.
Yeah. Have you seen that scene in Mike Bassett where all the players are being called pricks and getting sworn at as they're going back onto the coach?
You know the answer is yes.
We're pretty much there. This is the period where I'm like, God, this World Cup is actually so much like Mike Bassett.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I've only ever really realised it when I saw this because I was just like, God, this happens in Mike Bassett after that England game. And this is exactly what happened.
So we've got 2 points out of a possible 6 so far.
Against USA and Algeria.
USA and Algeria. One of those games being the worst game of football of all time.
Yeah.
The other, the USA game, being not a great performance, but a massive error from a goalkeeper and generally England's big players not showing up.
Yeah.
In particular, probably Wayne Rooney, but we'll get into that a bit more. The Algeria game is the lead up to today's Slovenia game.
We kind of pick up almost exactly where that game finishes, don't we?
Go on, because I'd completely forgot about this element.
Yeah. After that awful game, Pavlos Joseph, a mortgage broker, an England fan from Crystal Palace, in a replica England shirt, broke into the England dressing room and shouted at David Beckham. I mean, what's he done?
He's not on the pitch.
No?
He's just looking good. He's probably got, David, come on, you tell them.
Well,
They'll listen to you. They won't listen to me.
Pavlov Joseph later claimed that he'd been trying to find the toilet and had taken the wrong turn.
That's so how in a football stadium do you take a wrong turn going to look for a toilet and end up in the England dressing room.
I mean, it's only to England that could happen, wouldn't it? I mean, that is poor wayfinding in that stadium, isn't it?
That's so bad.
I know.
That's so crazy.
We do have a quote though from Pavel
I remember
Joseph.
one of his quotes anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so he says, I looked David straight in the eye and I said, David, we spent a lot of money getting here. This is a disgrace. What are you going to do about it? And Beckham said to Joseph, asked him who he was or anything like that. And Joseph said, I'm Pavlos and I need the toilet.
Pissed up Pavlos, man. I love that. So let's break that down a little. I looked David straight in the eye and said, David, we've spent a lot of money getting here. This is a disgrace. What are you going to do about it?
I mean, what the fucking David Beckham do about anything at this point? He's pretty much there just as an ambassador because I think England would...
He was thinking it was going to be good. He was like, I'll go along for the good times. He's just in the middle of this horrible atmosphere where he's got no influence.
I've got so many advertising campaigns that I'm still trying to do at the time. I think one of the reasons he went, actually, remembering this again, England were trying to get the World Cup around this time. Oh. So I don't think that had gone to Russia at this point. I think it was around this because... Prince William and Harry were around the changing rooms when this happened as well. I don't think they were right next to Beckham, but he'd recently just been talking to them.
And you've got the question, what are you going to do about it? And Beckham responds to that question with a question of his own, which is, who are you?
Yeah.
All of that. We've spent loads of money to be here. What are you going to do about it? Who are you? First of all, who are you?
I love the idea. He's like, who are you?
Yeah.
Are you one of Capello's new people he's not told me about or something?
And then an iconic line from Pavlos. I'm Pavlos and I need the toilet. He told the Sunday Mirror all about this, and there's a lovely picture that we can see of him with an England flag. He looks... I don't know how to describe how he looks, but I think he would eat a lot of chips.
Yes, I'm not disagreeing with that. Yeah, and I've already done his voice. His voice is perfect.
Yeah.
I'll have you know, so don't worry about that.
Have you heard him say it then?
No,
but
I've just invented a voice.
Your voice is how he looks.
Yeah.
He also found some England players sitting on benches with the towels on, and apparently he told them that was woeful and not good enough. According to Pavlos, the room was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. The players' chins were on the chests, and they looked pretty ashamed.
No, it must have been in... he was just looking for a toilet, so he was just like, I haven't got time for anything else. Oh, there's David Beckham. I'll quickly talk to him. Yeah. I'll go in here. This door that's marked England, because they're shit, so I'm going to go in the toilet. So let's just go, oh no, all the England players are here. Here we go.
So mad. I can't believe that.
I totally forgot about that as well until I looked into it too. But yeah, he broke in and gave England players what for? Is he right to do so?
Is he right to do so?
As in, if you were, do you remember how angry you were probably after that Algeria game?
Oh, right.
Right then, if you saw an England player from that Algeria game after we watched it, would you have said something?
There's a difference between seeing them and walking into their dressing room.
Yeah, but I guess he's just so surprised. He's almost just.
I wouldn't say anything. No, I'm not got the.
I'm getting off. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say sorry.
Yeah,
and walk away. I'm not like Pavlos in that sense. What I would have liked to have said to him at the time would have been similar to what he said.
Mm.
It's a disgrace, woeful, and not good enough. But that must mean, shut the fuck up, you fuck.
Again, who are you?
Yeah, who are you? And stop slagging us off. Where's Capello?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, totally absent there. I mean,
eating a wall.
Just out of pure anger for the team.
He's like, I don't need a knife and fork. I'll just start straight in the middle with my teeth.
Maybe he was having a bit of birthday cake because it's his birthday on this day as well, which we'll get onto in a minute.
Yeah, another big element again, as you mentioned, we're picking up straight in the aftermath. So even before, maybe when Pavlos, when he went, I'm just going to pop to the bathroom before we leave.
Yeah.
At that point, Wayne Rooney was looking down the barrel at TV cameras saying, nice to see your own fans boo you. What was the public reaction to that? We spoke about it last time in terms of our reaction, but
it was bad. Pretty much everyone was furious about it. I don't remember actually. There's another clip as well where you can. So I think someone's reading his lips, and he basically says, "If that's what loyal support is, for fuck's sake." So when he says, "Nice hero fans booing you," he also says that as well, which I totally forgot about as well. So I think it's
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's picked up later. The FA released a statement from Rooney the following day saying, on reflection on the heat of the moment, it all came out of frustration with our performance and the result. For my part, I apologise for any offence caused at the end of the game. So it's just the most standard.
Yeah.
Sorry, shouldn't have swore in the camera.
Yeah. I would love to know. I don't think anyone's really asked him what he thinks of it all these years later. He'd probably give a good answer now.
Yeah, he seems a bit more refined now, Rooney, doesn't it? Turtlenecked and off to America now.
Yeah, but this, I suppose that moment, it's big when you look back, but it all seems so long ago.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments of this World Cup which I remember a lot, and not a lot of them happen on the pitch. And if they do, it's not really a footballing moment, if you know what I mean. It's like there's other things around it where you go, oh yeah, that happened here now, didn't it?
Yeah, we get a bit of insight from the outside at this point, and he's a big Mick McCarthy who's sticking his oar in.
Yeah. So England are kind of offered a lot of help by the media to how to right
all
the
very
ship.
sincerely and without any other meaning. They're just trying to be helpful.
Just trying to be helpful. I mean, Gary Neville says that Capello needed to change tactics for the next game. I assume this is before he rebrands as a pundit, really.
So would it have been in like a column?
Yes, most probably, yeah. I think he had done that, or maybe when he was... he probably wasn't even a pundit at that point, 'cause he was still just about playing for another year or so.
What the hell would he been doing then? Just talking?
I think, maybe he did have a column somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he was interviewed on Sky Sports News or something, because they were just like, right, get a footballer. We can't show any actual football. Let's just look at a footballer.
No, it's very helpful. Capello needed to change tactic. Brilliant.
I mean, I didn't really look into what he said afterwards. I just saw that, he said that he should change tactics. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah,
But,
that's great.
Yeah, Mick McCarthy wrote a piece saying he didn't watch the England v Algeria game due to him being stuck on a runway for an hour and a half in Port Elizabeth.
He was commentating a lot on this World Cup, wasn't he?
Yeah, miserable Mick, wasn't it?
Loved it though.
Oh yeah, he was like, this is one of the worst games I've ever seen in my life, this is.
Loved it.
Yeah, he did miss the game, but did thank God for the invention of ABS brakes on his plane, as I think they'd failed to take off once or twice or something like that, so he was stuck on the runway for an hour and a half. But yeah, he opened his column by thanking ABS brakes, which is, really, really helpful there, Mick.
Yeah, but he did get into the meat and bones of the team and said the main topic of conversation was Wayne Rooney and England's failure to break down stubborn opposition playing 4-5-1. I can't comment on the particulars of England's performance because I didn't see the game, but suggested a way of breaking down the overly defensive sides was to play, direct the play up against their centre-backs and look to benefit from any scraps.
Just pump it forward then.
Just the most general advice ever.
And it's the most Mick McCarthy advice ever as well. It's like, right, you got two big lads up there.
Yeah.
I'm just going to chuck the ball and you get smaller lads around them. It's like he's just really learnt a lot from Jack Charlton, hasn't he?
He got paid for that, man.
I know, it was in The Guardian, that column as well.
my
Like,
God.
in what world are they employing him to write a football column during the World Cup?
I think he could do a good job of writing a football column.
I read this one. It wasn't good. It was this was
But
the best bit.
He missed the game though.
Yeah, exactly. So why is he even commenting on it? Well, I'm going to write it anyway.
The main topics of conversation were Wayne. I don't know, mate. He's just going Star Wars. Now it's about robots and stars.
It's all about Lego, isn't it? Are they all made out of Lego? I don't know.
I haven't seen the film, but I would say it would be better if there were more shagging. More birds with the tops off.
A very big Mick one, that.
Now back, continuing with the media. Sorry, ITV. Their rotten streak continues.
Yeah, England aren't the only hated ones in the country. ITV are also hated at this point as well for their coverage of the USA and Algeria games. The missed Gerrard goal in the opening game was something that ITV took a lot of slack for. This was also accompanied by pundit Robbie Earle selling his complimentary tickets to a marketing company who gave them to a Dutch beer company, and the Dutch beer company sent lots of pretty women down to advertise their beer instead of Earle, and Earle was sacked from ITV.
Yeah. Now again, much like, was it Pavlos or whatever his name was?
Yes.
I'd completely forgotten about this, but I think that was a front page news story. So everything about this World Cup was just shameless it's so mad. It's so mad. Can't remember what the beer was now.
I mean, it doesn't really work, does it? The advertising campaign was supposed to be have the beer, but I think it was almost
It's
like
not
a
a
bit of
Rangy Boom, is it? The bloody
I don't know.
Bavaria beer.
Well, and I think it was. I don't think there's actually any advertising on the women's clothing. They're all just dressed in orange. And
Yeah.
I remember watching one of the games and going, I'm assuming it's a Netherlands game, where they're like, oh, the camera's just focusing on lots of women in orange dancing around. That's a bit strange, isn't it? And then, but there's never any branding on it. So you're like, well, what was the point of that then?
The pundits themselves as well were getting a bit of stick. Adrian Charles was starting to rub people up the wrong way. It turned into a bit of a comedy capers show, airing footage of himself being hit in the balls. That's his testicles balls
Yeah.
by the Jabulani, which is a football
Yeah.
used primarily in the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. They found somebody. It must have been Diego Forlan to hit the target like that.
There definitely would have been like a still of Diego Forlan, him kicking the ball, and then like it cut into Adrian Charles and him being hit in the ball, like Mole Man or something.
The public, I guess, were giving Keegan a bit of stick as well, saying he looked incredibly tired and worried, like someone roused in the small hours to fret in a dressing gown while the village post office burns down. That probably isn't a member of the public, is it? That must be a writer.
I think that's Barney Ronay. That
Is
is,
it?
yeah.
Yeah,
It's very Ronay, isn't it? I found that and just thought that was lovely. But yeah, I think Keegan in the Algeria game, while he's been a pundit, he's got like a medallion on show or something.
No.
I mean, like that does not sound Keegan at all. But apparently, he was just always desperately positive of like this could get better. We could do this. I think,
we've spoke about that as well. I think he said the first performance was absolutely fine, and they would have beaten
any
most
team,
any
team.
a performance good enough to beat any team in that opening game where they drew, and everything will be fine after the Algeria game, which it may or may not be. We're still to get there. ITV were also bigging up Dizzy Rascal's World Cup single and continue to air James Corden's World Cup show. So they really are going for this kind of, isn't it a lot of fun?
Yeah.
Completely unaware or completely pretending to be oblivious to the fact that this World Cup is anything but fun.
Yeah, and yeah, this is the most far away from fun I ever had watching a tournament. And it wasn't just England; it was just like it was almost every game was like spiteful because again, I didn't have a job at the time, and I was so happy, kind of like at least I got to watch all of a World Cup.
Yeah,
and it's the worst World Cup in living memory, and it's just like, real. This is what I get, then, is it?
And it felt so long in between the England games. I don't know why. Like when you look back at like the Iceland Euros and some of the Hodgson ones, it feels like it was just over in a week. But like it felt like it went on forever. Maybe just because we were younger, but it was just like the time in between those games, these England games, and the amount that happened.
And there was so much time for reaction as well. Maybe it was because it was every 2 minutes something was happening. Someone was arguing with someone. There needed to be a falling out. There were press conferences seemingly every day. They're just always going on.
We're going to look at some of those press conferences now. This is when shit gets a bit... I don't even know how to describe it. There's a bit of a mutiny, isn't there, led by England's Rose, John Terry.
Yeah. After the Algeria game, John Terry goes out in front of the media and says on live TV, I just want to come and be myself, to be honest and open. This is what I'm here to do today. So, Terry comes out and states that he's there on behalf of the whole team and that they're fully behind Capello, but he starts to descend.
It's very, very Alan Partridge as well, that is. Have you seen in This Time when the original host of This Time died?
Yes.
Therefore giving Partridge the chance to be the interim host.
Yeah, yeah.
And he starts reading a thing, and he was a great man, and he did this, and of course you'll remember him for this, and he goes, guys, do you mind if I just go off script for a moment and just freestyle?
Yeah.
Like, that's what John Terry's... I've just come here to just be myself.
Well, he's gone out and he's got like the stuck lines of, I'll go out and do it. I mean, because it mustn't have been easy doing it in the Algeria game, but yeah. So basically there's a session booked in for the England players and staff to watch the England game back against Algeria.
Wasn't Stephen Gerrard the England captain?
Yes.
So shouldn't Stephen Gerrard be...
I mean, he probably fronted up after the USA game. So I think they hadn't really talked about who was going to go out before, because apparently they do that on the way to the game. So they were like, just sit John Terry out, because I think he was like, I'll go out then.
Oh, yeah, that's fucking good. Yeah. Jesus Christ, not a good idea.
So, yeah, he goes out and he says about this session that's coming up to rewatch the Algeria game. He says, Phil, there's a problem. There's no point in keeping it in. And said about Capello, if it upsets him or any other player, so what? I'm not distancing myself from the responsibilities. I'm here as captain of Chelsea and as a big personality in the dressing room. Responsibility falls on all experienced players to get things going again. We really need to go out there and just think, sod it. We've got one game where we can break or make this tournament.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
I'm here as the captain of Chelsea. That's so stupid, man. What is it? Should players be... What? No. You can't be doing this. You can't be doing this to Fabio Capello.
I mean, going out there and saying I don't really care what he thinks about what we've got to say in this meeting that's coming up, basically, isn't it?
Just I'm just reading it. I've got it in front of me. He doesn't really say like we think this. It's like if I upset him or any other players, then so what? Like he's not going out there and he's going, well, to be honest, I can speak on behalf of the players and say this.
Yeah.
He's kind of just going, I'll say stuff, and if it kicks off, then so what? I'm the captain of Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, straight away, he's called himself a big personality. Big warning about him being a dickhead right there, if anyone says that. I'm
Imagine
mad,
calling,
I am.
Yeah, calling yourself a big personality.
Yeah. He's also mentioned that he's Chelsea captain. And obviously that means he's kind of said that, and as he's no longer the England captain, kind of insinuating that he's been here before and he knows, the score about putting player power first as well. And it's kind of maybe he's used to doing that at Chelsea. Of either going over a manager's head or kind of Chelsea players managing themselves almost and going, look, this is what we do at Chelsea. When
This
it
was
goes
kind
to
of
the
in
shit,
the peak of that, wasn't it, as well?
yeah, because you had Ancelotti who'd come in and done well, but you'd had Scolari who'd gone, Avram Grant was there as well, Mourinho. So they were in this period still where the Chelsea players were winning stuff, but kind of how much is that on the manager? You never really know.
So there was a meeting set up to review the Algeria game. Poor bastards.
Having to watch that again. At least they've had to watch it too.
And on that upcoming meeting, Terry continued, this is about Capello. Whether he starts it or finishes it, the players can say how they feel. And if it upsets him, then I'm on the verge of just saying, you know what? So what? I'm here to win it for England. He's feeling the same. The players are feeling the same. And if we can't be honest with each other, then there's no point in us being here. You can't hold grudges. If I say something tonight, and I probably will, and a few others will, then I'm doing the best for England. This is so stupid.
Live television,
I'm
by the
probably
way.
going to say something.
Yeah, well, just stop me. Hold me back. I'm going to say something to him.
Yeah, so this is live. The PR person, he just gone, well, you've just got me sacked.
Yeah.
They would have given him the lines and he's gone, nah.
You didn't mention the clean sheet.
Yeah.
I said that was top of the list, clean sheet.
I'm going to say stuff. Just say it then. Who does this? Who says this stuff to the media?
But I don't even think John Terry's ever said this kind of stuff before because
No, I don't think he has.
I don't ever remember at Chelsea when he's come out and said stuff like this about the manager. And it's even in a weirder place to be saying it here because he's live post-match about an international manager while the tournament's going on. It's not like they've been knocked out or anything either.
Oh, so this is post.
This is live.
This is like after the game,
So,
ITV, they're going to cut to Adrian Chiles.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, we're going to speak to John Terry now.
It doesn't really change much, but I just thought in my head it was like a day or two after.
No, this is literally after they've got changed and they've come back basically, or even like maybe he's still got his kit on.
It kind of makes me hate him a little bit less.
Well, because you think maybe it's emotion. And...
Emotion, yeah. But like, what is the point of doing that? Why not just do what you could say you're going to do,
Yeah,
and then actually face the consequences of whether Fabio Capello is going to kick the shit out of you, rather than saying it to the press and then causing. It's going to get picked up as a story, and it's a big story, and it just is for that reason. But like, you're trying to cover yourself, aren't you? So everyone will know now.
Well, I'm a
I'm
good bloke.
Yeah, I'm a good bloke. Everyone will know if I'm out the team, it's for speaking my mind, which I've already said is for the best for England.
And it only helps because we've only got another one fit centre back, so I'm not going to drop me either, is he?
Oh shit, yeah. There was also a reference to the tragicomedy that was France's tournament. John Terry referenced his teammate Nicholas Anelka.
Yeah, reference him getting sent home, saying, "I see he was sent home for voicing his opinion, so maybe a few of us will be sent home after this evening."
Can't even say Fabio Capello's a rubbish manager anymore, can you? Without being sent home.
Oh, bloody hell!
I know, game's gone.
Awful.
But it came and went that night, and the next night it was a birthday party.
Well, it's the same night, so we go from the.
It's not, is it?
So we go from the live studio where he's been talking, and we go back to the England camp now for Fabio Capello's birthday party.
Oh my God.
So yeah, Terry approaches Capello's assistant Baldini to ask if the players can have a beer and just speak to the manager.
Again, I respect that.
Yeah, saying that, well, kind of like, you can't do that already. That's bad from Capello.
Yeah.
Like he feels like he's got to say, look, can we just have a word? Can't you just go up to him and say that? So Capello maybe is putting something up instead. Before the meeting, Terry said to the FA press man, "I'll probably get in trouble now." So he already knows he's going to say something.
You're getting sacked. You
Yeah.
know that as well, mate. I'm going to get in trouble, but you're going to be getting in a lot more trouble, and it's going to mean more.
Yeah.
But so Capello's 64.
Yeah.
His birthday party, and John Terry's gone. Can we have a beer and a bit of a chat, mate? Clear the air. You know.
Can I have a word?
Yeah. Just me and the boys have been talking. Yeah, you haven't been watching ITV's coverage of the game, have you? It's like, no, obviously not. I've just been in the stadium and stuff.
Yep. He's not seeing any of that, Capello.
He's rubbish. That Adrian Charles was slagging you off. Slagging you off something
Slagging
rotten,
you
mate.
off.
I would not be watching any of that back if I was you.
Don't bother.
Would no be watching it. He's like, well, we got to review it. We've set up a meeting to review it. Yeah, but just get the best bits off YouTube or something.
Yeah. I'll do the cut for you.
Yeah, I'll do the cut. Don't worry. You sit down. It's your birthday.
The Terry cut.
John Terry director's cut.
So, yeah, apparently they sat down. Capello had a bottle of red wine and sat down with some of the players to talk about the issues of the Algeria game and the tournament as a whole, really, as well.
Yeah.
Those having the discussion with Capello were Terry, Lampard, Rooney, Lennon, James, Crouch, Carragher, Gerrard, and Glenn Johnson. Carragher's done well to get in that argument.
I heard there was wine.
But, like, an awful tournament for him so far.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
he's
just
not,
like, well, I'm going to stick the boot in here of what's gone wrong. It's you.
and he's not playing in the next game.
Yeah, he's already, well, why wouldn't you just boot in that, in fairness, at that point? We could be going home next.
Yeah, and he'd already retired from playing for England, hadn't he? And
Once,
was supposed to come back. He's clearly not going to be continuing post this.
Could have been on
tournament.
holiday.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of
Are you going to reimburse me for my holiday?
that Pavlos came in here early, he slagged me off.
So that you got the boys there having a chat. Is there any big names missing there?
I don't think so. Lennon's done well to get in there as well. Maybe it's just kind of like the starting players. We're just like, look, this isn't working out really.
I was watching Succession recently, and the last episode of the latest series when all the kids team up and they're going to Logan's thingy, and then they're like, "Dad, we need to talk about this," and he's on about Kendall, and he goes, "Okay, but not with him in the room. I don't fucking trust him. Get him out." Rob Green in that scenario.
Oh my God, yeah. Rob Green's getting nowhere. David James has wormed his way into this after one appearance, the same as Green. Green's probably just like, I am out of here.
Yeah, he did walk in. And he's like, "Look, I'll talk to you, but get that fucking freak out of here now."
On the England bench, there's probably just like a cutout of Rob Green because he has gone home.
Yeah, Capello was that responsive, really.
No, the issues that come up, they said they're unhappy with training, unhappy with the system, and unhappy about the exclusion of Joe Cole as well. That was seen as a big thing in the dressing room.
I was unhappy about the exclusion of Joe Cole, but
Yeah.
how old was Joe Cole at this time?
He's probably 28, 29, I want to say. I mean, he was
21.
Yeah, exactly. How is he not 21? I mean, he'd done really well at Chelsea and just become a free agent as well.
So this is just before he went to Liverpool.
Yeah. So I read in some of the reports around this, there'd been a lot of talk about him maybe going to Arsenal or Spurs as well. So the Liverpool thing must have come out of nowhere, really.
Yeah. So the players were unhappy about that. I mean, yeah, would they be unhappy about the exclusion of Joe Cole if they've been winning?
Yeah, exactly. It's
not about Joe Cole, is it? It's just about that it's all going shit.
It's more the system again, isn't it? And maybe, it's that too. But as you say, Capello saw that he was doing everything right himself and he was just being let down by the players. He said, look in the mirror in the morning and say, you worked hard. Yes, you studied everything. You prepare everything. Yes, but then the football is so different. It's like Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
It's like, you prepare. Yes, you do
worked
this.
hard,
Yes.
But then the food is so fucking cold.
That's exactly what he's doing here. It's just like, what is this?
On that Joe Cole item, though, imagine Aaron Lennon in that room and the players go, and another thing, we want Joe Cole to play. And I'm just like, no. We don't necessarily slow down. Baby.
Who for?
Where are we talking?
Yeah. Rooney's got to go, hasn't he?
We are not in agreement on this. David James would speak about this airing of the grievances.
Yeah.
The annual, what is it? What's the festival and song?
Festivus.
That's it. He said, the invitation has been there before for senior players to be allowed to comment to the manager. If people have got a problem and something to say, then say it. We will, I'm sure, say what we need to say. So much saying and nothing being said.
Yeah, it sounds like it's an invitation for a fight as well, doesn't it? We all know there's been an open invitation to go and fight the boss. We can do it if we want.
Trust me, John Terry's there going, I'm going to say something. And then all the players are going, I'm going to say something. And David James going, we used to be able to say something. And Capello's going, well, fucking say something.
Just like hands, come on then.
Yeah.
Bare chested.
Yeah. Speak. The day after the ITV interview in the chat, Capello did actually learn about what Terry had said to ITV. He would say, I read yesterday, John Terry said this, and I don't understand why he didn't speak with me. When you speak, you have to speak privately. This is a very big mistake. The mistake is you have to speak with me, the players in the dressing room. Oh my God. It's so clinical. He's broken down what the mistake is. And then he's gone, when you speak, you have to speak privately. This is a very big mistake, confirming. And then just once more for clarity,
Yeah.
the mistake is that you didn't speak with
You're
me.
the mistake.
Yeah. I mean, again, the opposite of all those players, though, isn't he? Going on, oh, we want to do this, we want to say this. Why don't you play Joe Cole? He's absolutely right. Why would you say that to the media?
Yeah, straight away. Again, straight after the game where you're supposed to be showing a united front, maybe. And yeah, his ego must have just got away with him there. I mean, to save the damage of what's happened, Frank Lampard has to go out the next day to give a press conference and be like, no, we're behind the manager. Don't worry about it.
It's all a strange one, isn't it? Capello and Terry. I think Terry would probably like to say, Capello, mate, he's matching me. But
Yeah.
Capello would probably be like, oh, that fucking div.
But the thing is,
But he died on his sword for him, didn't he?
yeah, well, that's the strange thing. Their relationship is like he stripped him of the England captaincy, keeps him in the squad, and kind of like prefers him and says, you're going to carry on at the end of it. They have this big falling out here. Then, like you say, he kind of like finishes Capello's England career under Terry as well, with in terms of the actions that he wants to take for him.
Yeah. The Capello Index, Terry. I'd like to see where he was in there. Anyway, at this point, but the team have been away for 5 weeks.
This is why it feels so long, doesn't it?
Yeah, they've only played 2 competitive games and a game against World All-Stars on a car park.
Oh yeah, whatever that was. Yeah.
And that's where we kind of leave the team. Slovenia.
There's very little to say about
Yeah.
Slovenia. Really, they are such a backwards player, aren't they? In this kind of game here, Slovenia they'd beaten Algeria late on in the opening game of the World Cup, racing to a 2-0 lead against the USA in their second game before the soccer gods came back and snatched a draw. Slovenia are top of the group at this stage, with USA facing bottom of the table Algeria. So for Slovenia, a draw is good enough, and they'll likely knock England out as well if they get a draw here. A win for either side, though, would guarantee them progress.
Okay, and let's get on with the game then. So it's England versus Slovenia, 2010 World Cup at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium, Port Elizabeth, Wednesday, 23rd of June.
German referee leads out the two teams. England in their chain strip of all red. The credibility of the English national game will be tested in Port Elizabeth here today. England are in danger of slipping out of the competition unless they can beat Slovenia today, who only need a point.
So we're here. Tensions are high.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the lineups then. England, in goal, we have David James. In defence, we have Glenn Johnson, Matthew Upson, John Terry and Ashley Cole. In midfield, James Milner, Frank Lampard, Gareth Barry and Steven Gerrard. Jermaine Defoe and Wayne Rooney up front. On the bench, we got Joe Hart, Robert Green, Michael Dawson, Stephen Warnock, Sean Wright-Phillips, Michael Carrick, Joe Cole, Peter Crouch and Emil Heskey. God, he keeps changing it, doesn't he? Why does he keep changing it?
What? 'Cause he's been so good so far.
It's so bad, yeah, fair enough, yeah, but still.
Yeah, there's 3 changes. So Matthew Upson of West Ham replaces the suspended Jamie Carragher. Milner replaces Ira Leonard, and Jermaine Defoe comes in for Emil Heskey. Ledley King still injured. What a grim bench. No, that's the thing that stood out to me, is what the hell are you even going to change barely on that? It's so depressing.
Joe Cole, Peter Crouch and Emil Heskey.
And yeah,
Sean Wright-Phillips.
really. He's come on in both games and been wank, so
Jermaine Defoe.
good to see him in there.
It's good to see him in there. It's like, oh, finally we got somebody who's not a bullshit idiot. That can just like score goals as well.
Yeah, you've brought in a goal scorer to try and fix the team. Well done on that. I mean, it's seen as a shock inclusion, with Rooney expected to play up front on his own, with Joe Cole expected to start. So it had been briefed in the press almost that he was like,
I think
we're going to do it.
I think Capello probably would have done that.
Yeah.
Until they all told him that that's what they want.
Yeah. Oh, you want Joe Cole playing, do you? Sorry.
Yoink. Taking Joe Cole back. The graphic on the screen that we watched had Gerrard on the right and Milner on the left, but I'm not sure it's like that. But could you imagine? Gerrard on the right. I mean,
I don't think I've ever seen that in all the years I've been watching football. Maybe once. I can't imagine Steven Gerrard running down like the right wing or something. It seemed very odd.
I just wished. I watched this yesterday and I thought I wished that Gerrard and Lampard had never played for England. nothing that they have contributed is equal to like completely imbalancing the team for about 8 years.
Yeah, I think it's just always never finding that system. But with Gareth Barry here, you think, is that the system that was seen as the thing to unleash these attacking players, wasn't it?
Even then, though, you're playing one of them on the wing.
Yeah.
And then which one do you... I just like... No offence, obviously they both are great England players in the sense of like the caps that they've got and everything, but all these years, like I would have liked to have seen what it was like without them.
It's unfortunately they've both come along at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you can probably think if only one was playing for England around this time, you go, well, actually, there's a role for them clearly.
Definitely,
but because they both come at the same time, it kind of muddles things, and you think, actually, this is really good, but is it?
No, yeah, and it's just like, guys. I mean, I think if there was a bit more, I don't know, maybe in the Sven era as well, like if they weren't both there, we would have struggled with our midfield. But I think now, if you were to take that 2006 squad and take Gerrard and Lampard out of it, I think you'd probably be all right. I think you'd play Hargreaves more, and you'd probably play like Carrick and those types.
Or even just one of them, like we say, even just one of them comes out and you feel like they're a bit more balanced again. Like the most balanced they probably ever were was in 2004. That's when you've still got Paul Scholes and Beckham in there as well, and that still massively confuses things.
How much does the Phillips and Rice sort of axis help England's balance, though? I mean, we just went sod that. I know it was before, but like players playing in midfield who weren't just running all over the attacking, third.
It's a thing. It's a thing England just do over the years, and they either go, we're going to stick to the system, or we just play the best players. I mean, it's like neither of the two shall ever meet, shall they?
We got Glenn Johnson picking up on his 25th cap. He feels like a bit of a mainstay at this point.
Yeah, it feels like he should have probably had more at this play, you feel as well? I mean, Gary Neville's disappeared over the horizon at the start of 2007, and Mika Richards burst onto the scene so much that he burst straight out of the team. Yeah. So, yeah, he's gone as well at this point. It's Johnson on his own for about 10 years, it feels like.
Burst onto and beyond the scene. All right, then, Slovenia, Nick?
Slovenia, yes, they have Samir Handanovic in goal, and then Breko, Schuler, Cesar and Jovic, Bursa, Robert Corrin as captain, Rajashav, Kerm, Ljubijac and Novicic up front. You can Google the bench.
I don't know any of them. Handanovic plays for Inter, I think.
Yeah, he played for Inter for a good couple of years as well. Robert Corrin, I always remember he was at West Brom. Corrin scored the only goal in the win against Algeria as well. And right winger Bursa and forward Ljubijac scored Slovenia's goals against the USA. So they've scored a few. They've scored more than England. They've got 3. Yeah. England have got 1 so far.
Yeah, they're comfortable, man. I think they'd be feeling confident. A quick look at the kit then. England head to toe in red.
Yeah.
It's a nice top, and I like England in red. Yeah, it's fine, but it's the red shorts. Break that red up.
Is that what you don't like it? Would a white suit that really? I don't know if that look that good. I don't know.
Red.
I love that England kit. It looks awful on these England players. What have they done to it? They've ruined a great kit.
Yeah, it's just the anger you think of when you see these players. Slovenia's not much to talk about. I'm pretty sure I had the exact same kit for a made-up team on FIFA, just one of the presets on there. Yeah. And before we get into the national anthems, we see a bit of a comparison between England and Slovenia's tournament in a graphic style that I have never seen before and quite frankly don't ever want to see again. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So they're going like passing accuracy so far, 71%, 73. Shots on target so far, 10-2 or what have you. And dependent on how many you have, they both have like a graphic man, just like a neutral man.
In your kit.
In their kit. And say if England have had 10 shots in the tournament and Slovenia have had 2, England's man will grow massive and Slovenia's man will shrink. And what the hell were they thinking?
And they look so horrible as well. They look like on like 2008 era, like Football Manager regens, these players.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
look horrible, little creepy boys.
Speaking of horrible little creepy boys, England look like they've gone back to like 1998 to get the fans. There looks like there is so much patio furniture about to be absolutely smashed up in South Africa. It's like they gone, we really need the old boys for this.
Yeah, we're bringing them back. Get them out of the prisons. Come on, bring them back over here. Get them in that stadium.
Special cargo flight to South Africa.
They all-
Just fucking hooligans.
They all just, the English are here, just a chair just comes through.
Before we get to the anthems, even still, the players are in the tunnel for what seems like a lifetime. Just
Oh my God, just get out there. They
Yeah.
seem to be genuinely stood there in a line for about 5 minutes in the build up, and they're all just looking around, looking at each other. I don't know what's the hold up.
they look like they're ready to throw the game. None like the smile. There's not a smile. There's just disgust and complete indifference. They look like they're ready. England's players. This is not Slovenia, obviously. England look
Yeah.
like they're ready to just go. I'll do anything for this to stop.
Yeah, I just want to go home. It's
Yeah.
been 5 weeks.
Yeah, 5 weeks. That is a long time.
Oh, I had some chips in the fridge. They're off now.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to get home and have a cold beer and just slag off Fabio Capello knowing he's not in the same hotel as
You
me.
can't find me somehow.
Just open your patio doors when you get home and go, I hate Fabio Capello.
And then like a lightning strikes, he just appears, just bong, like in a horror film. Every time the lightning strikes, he gets close to the furniture.
Yeah. Oh, national anthems. Slovenia. They're kind of quite into it, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just there, aren't they? There's a couple of players that aren't facing the right way. There's one bloke on the bench for them who is screaming. It's like they've actually bought a fan and just got him in a kit as well. He's loving it. He is.
England. Matthew Upson's giving it some. He's buzzing. He's happy to be here.
He's just like, World Cup, me. This is
know.
great.
As soon as the anthems are done, though, the vuvuzelas are back.
Yeah,
Pain.
I enjoyed hearing them again as a novelty for the USA game, but then I hated hearing them for the Algeria, and I hate them even more. It just reminds me of shit football.
Well, just a word for the listener, maybe at this point. We have spoke a lot so far. The game is quite secondary today to that build-up, but we are underway then. England don't can I shock you?
Yeah.
England don't exactly get off to a flying start.
No. Glenn Johnson has about 4 bad things happen to him in the first 4 minutes. He's missed kicking, the ball goes out of play, he fouls a Slovenia player twice. He probably should be booked really early on as well. There's a late tackle from behind at Barry as well. It's just so disjointed again and just so like,
Yeah.
what the hell are you doing?
All of them look panicked. In the first couple of minutes, I was thinking, who would you back in this England team to lead by example? Do you think, is Rooney finally going to wake up? Is Gerrard going to just go, well, everyone else is kicking off, but I'm kind of relatively unscathed in that sense. I'm just going to focus on the football. Is Gareth Barry going to go, right, I'll sort it out. You guys attack. Or is it going to be Jermaine Defoe, maybe, unblemished? I'm not sure. Is there anyone who... Try and think of it without obviously knowing that we've watched the game.
Yeah, like
I would have probably said Rooney.
I think we watched this together. I remember we watched this around your dad's house, maybe. And I
Yeah.
think we were just like, right, come on, we've got to get into this now. They're here. They're going to switch it on for us now. It's going to be Rooney or Gerrard. I mean, Gerrard's been underperformed in this tournament, but you probably think as captain, he's kind of wants to try and drag this team on. He doesn't want to be remembered as a captain who went out in a group stage of a World Cup, does he?
Yeah. Well, maybe Rooney or Gerrard then. That's who we're hoping.
Well, England are putting all their hopes on James Milner at the start. He is on the ball so much. It feels like they've only got one plan, and it's just to get the ball to him out wide. And it's like, oh, he can cross. David Beckham's not around.
Yeah, I think he's Mr. Dependable, isn't he? England players are like, they're so hated, but he's so passive and neutral. You can't really hate him. So get it to him. They can't hate him.
Yeah.
And he can cross as well.
I can't hate him.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the pitch, poor Ashley Cole is constantly left on his own in attack. Even so, Gerrard, obviously, he's not going to do the tracking back as much as maybe some modern wingers would. He's not a winger.
Yeah.
Anyway, but he doesn't want to be on the wing.
No.
He wants to be central. So Ashley Cole is always like, I've got to attack and defend this entire side on my own because Gerrard, he's running over to the right at points as well.
There is a point, yeah. He's just all over the place and trying to be all action. The problem is everyone is trying to do that as well. There's clearly no shape. And I mean, again, no wonder Capello has been fuming about this team.
Gareth Barry, lucky not to get a card for a bad tackle from behind just into our own half on 9 minutes. I mean, imagine a world without him at this point.
Gareth Barry, I was shocked in this game in terms of not exactly how bad he was, how slow he was. I know he's never been the quickest player, but you just feel like actually he's clearly not match fit because he's never usually that slow. And sometimes he loses the ball and he is running full pelt back at the England goal to try and get it back. And he's just nowhere near anybody.
No. Rooney, though, he has his best moment of the tournament so far on 9 minutes as he puts in a decent cross that's headed out for a corner.
Well done, Wayne.
But that was genuinely exciting.
I think his best moment was when he swore on the camera, if I'm honest. I probably preferred that a bit more. Lampard has a free kick out so far out from England. He's actually closer to the halfway line than he is the goal.
Yeah.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I think all the England players and all the players in general, the Slovenia players do it a lot. They've got it in their head so much that this ball just does anything.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I'm going to have a shot. Maybe it'll go in. It doesn't really matter. And he has a shot. It just hits the goalkeeper. And it's like, oh, the ball's behaving itself now for some reason. It's like a cricket ball where all of a sudden it'll start reverse swinging or something like that. It's like, oh, well, what stage is this at? Who knows?
Lampard's pissing me off, I'm not going to lie, as well, in this game. Him and Gerrard just up to their old tricks. Dirty gits. But as we approach 20 minutes, England are actually looking slightly the better team. It's not pretty. It's not effective, even, but it is marginally better than Slovenia's performance so far. And we step just past the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. England start to build a little bit of momentum through tackles more than anything else. It's not really through any of the actual good play, but they are rewarded for it.
Johnson starting to get forward more and more. Barry. It's Milner. Defoe tries to get there. Jermaine Defoe scores. England have the breakthrough they desperately need. Well, there can be no doubt that if this cross really does make the goal, absolutely brilliant. Into that corridor of uncertainty, goalkeeper's got no chance. We said about Jermaine Defoe now with many touches. That's his most important one. Into pounds where and when it most matters.
Oh, it's coming home. Thank God it is coming home.
Oh, quickly get the banners back up.
Yes.
Come on, get this. Who's got the sun?
England lead 1-0 against Slovenia in a do-or-die World Cup group game.
And it's a player that people actually like.
Yeah.
Kind of the guy brought in to do it for them. Jermaine Defoe is the one who scores it.
Unblemished Jermaine.
Yeah, not been ruined by the horrors of Capello, has he? Yeah, Milner wide again. So they've got a plan. Get it out to James Milner. He crosses it, actually makes it into the box. Lovely run from Defoe, beats Sula, and shins it past Handanovic. The whole goal is kind of made by how good Jermaine Defoe's movement is. He kind of runs at the defender, he's behind him, and then just at the right moment, he runs in front of him and just kind of leaves him for dead. He's only just in front of him, but it's just enough to make the chance.
From my memory, this came much later in the game, so it was a nice surprise to watch. And I was like, right, how long am I going to wait to have to see this fucking Jermaine Defoe goal there? And it was a good goal, as you say. Well done to Defoe. Seems a relatively egoless person compared to some of the other teammates. And to come into this tournament so late, surrounded in such controversy, and just stay focused says a lot about him as a pro. It's a nice finish as well, if a little bit shinned and lucky, but he's made his own luck with the movement. Yeah, definitely. And it's, it almost works exactly the same again. So Milner gets it wide again, crosses it in. Defoe makes another run on the near post. Handanovic comes out and kind of spills it. Lampard comes to him on the edge area, has a chance and skies it. And you just think, does Lampard see the Jabulani ball in his nightmares? Because how many shots has he had in this tournament? And it is just not happening for him. Well, him and that ball, eh? One day we'll talk more about that. But, nice cross from Milner, actually, again. I can't believe, though, that is England's singular tactic. I mean, look how much they've changed. Like, opening game, Heskey's going to be the one to free Rooney up. Yeah. And we'll have Gerrard and Lampard. We'll make them work while we wait for... Well, Lennon's playing wide right as well in that opening game. And Milner's starting.
Milner started that first
And we're going to
one,
go
yeah.
with Ledley King at the back as well. And Rob Green's going to be our goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And now we 2 games later, we've got David James in goal. We've got Matthew Upson, who's replaced Jamie Carragher. And we've got
Who had replaced the King
Milner back after being subbed 30 minutes in that first game.
on the wrong wing as
on
well.
the wrong wing. Barry is in there, right? But then that's pushed one of Gerrard and Lampard out onto the wing.
Yeah.
The captain is actually the one who's been pushed out onto
Yeah.
the wing. And you got Defoe and Rooney up front. Who played in the second game up front?
It would have been Heskey again, but it's Defoe and Heskey swapping them out. That is a totally different lineup as well, isn't it? And you just think, what on earth is going on? And England are making chances in the game, but unlike the Algeria game, really. But everything just seems a little bit off. It's just like it feels like they're a bit hungover or something. Like, I'm stretching for that, can't quite make it. I mean, how big was this birthday bash at Capello's?
Oh God, I don't know if big's the right word, but it was definitely did some damage. But I think this opening 20, 30 minutes has been England's best since the opening 10 against the USA.
Yeah, as in sections of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree.
1-0 up and actually not bad.
Yeah, not bad. This is the level we've had to get to with this England team. Is it? This isn't too bad, but Defoe looks England's best player by miles in this game as well. He's so good. He makes another chance for England. Gerrard kind of runs through the middle. The ball kind of bumbles its way to Defoe and has a space for a shot. Unleashed, shot saved by Handanovic. And it kind of comes back to Rooney and Gerrard, who kind of play a 1-2 with each other. Tees up Gerrard, and you just think this is the atypical Steven Gerrard goal into the corner. But it's a brilliant save from Handanovic. It should be 2.
Fair play to England. I mean, that was an actual chance that was made through football.
Yeah.
And it was a good chance and a good save from the keeper. I mean, I dread to think how much we would have took our foot off the gas if we went 2-0 up, though.
Yeah, it's very dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah. Defoe, though, man, pulling the strings.
Yeah, he was always compared to Ian Wright, and he's putting in a Wright-esque performance here, constantly running in behind, trying to hold the ball up, and the goal's probably the highlight of Defoe's England career.
Yeah.
He had a good strike rate for England, but to be trusted by Capello to come in this big game and to bring the energy as well, which I think he's done more than any other player.
Oh, 100%. England's player of the tournament so far.
He probably is.
Probably is, yeah. I mean, except for maybe Glenn Johnson.
Should have been booked already. He could have been off.
Slovenia, so they've played on England's nerves early on by keeping the ball, but they haven't really offered anything. Their only chance of the half comes from a free kick that's really far out, hits the wall, and James just about punches it away. Just before the end of the half, we see Handanovic's penalty area, and the ground is really cut up. Apparently, some of the England players weren't happy about the quality of the pitch.
It's the pitch's fault now, is it? We've
God's
blamed
sake.
Capello, we've blamed altitude, we've blamed just Terry.
Yeah, not lack of Joe Cole.
No Joe Cole. We wanted more Joe Cole in this.
The absence of Joe Cole is painful. But it's fair, the pitch is quite bad. Half time, I'm surprised that England have got the lead. Maybe they're a bit more focused than I gave them credit for at the start when I thought they were going to drop the game. Yeah.
Yeah, they look the better of the two teams, but that probably says more about Slovenia. I think they kind of played on England's nerves in the first 10 minutes, and they kept the ball a bit better. But yeah, they are on top just about England now, and they probably should have been too.
And we step into the second half, mere seconds into that second half, and we have a moment.
Mistake straight away from Jokic. Corner if it goes. And it has. Amir Handanovic didn't look too comfortable in trying to control that. He's still racing back. He has to punch. Really uncertain start from Slovenia. Defoe! Could have, should have been 2.
Very quickly taken corner. It's a poor punch by the goalkeeper. Lampard's header comes back in. He reacts really quickly, Defoe. Definitely not offside.
Okay.
Close from Defoe. Could have been 2, like you say. Imagine if you get into now 2-0 and we're cruising. We'd love that, wouldn't we?
Break it down then, because I want to say something about it after you've done that.
Yeah, there's 2 massive miss kicks from Slovenia. It's like one just accidentally goes behind the player doing like a standing scissor kick, and pretty much the exact same thing happens again, and it goes towards Handanovic. He keeps it. Well, he doesn't keep it for going for a corner. Rooney takes it really quickly, and Handanovic punches it away. Only finds Lampard on the edge of the area, who gently kind of nuts it back into Defoe, who's onside somehow, and he just can't get a touch onto it.
I thought that corner was dodgy, man.
In terms of what?
I don't know, just took it way too quick. The keeper wasn't even anywhere near his goal.
It is funny. He takes it so quickly. He's just like, right, I don't care if you're there or not. I'm taking it.
Obviously, it didn't go in. Defoe, he almost had to pull a England v Portugal, Michael Owen, their turning goal out of the bag, but no dice. But I think it would have kicked off if that had gone in, and rightfully so. I don't know. I thought Rooney was a bit cheeky. I don't want England to score goals like that.
I mean, we just want England to score goals at this tournament. At the
I
time,
guess
we'd have
so.
just been like, just count it. Who cares?
I would have been like, yeah, you Slovenian slugs. Yes.
Yeah, this is so bread and butter from England. They're just void of any just confidence or creativity, and it's just awful, really. At this point, they're playing like they're down to the bare bones and ravaged by injury, and it's just like it's 2 games in, and
2 games,
and it's like you're just lacking any kind of ideas, really.
So much has happened in those 2 games, though. These are broken men, but they're broken men with a 1-0 lead.
Yeah.
The Rooney's kind of. What do you think of Rooney in this game? Does he look like he's trying more?
Yeah, he gets better as the game goes on, actually. I think he starts to improve, and he, again, plays a nice 1-2 with Gerrard, and then the ball comes back to him, and it's just kind of falls off his foot again.
Yeah.
And you just think, like, well, what's happened? It's like he's had all the talent, like, ripped out of him or something. It's just that this regular bloke on the pitch, and it's just like, well, I've got to keep playing. I can't tell anybody.
John Terry almost gets a goal that would have made his mutiny all the more sweeter, but it's a good save from his header by Handanovic. Handanovic, who has been very busy, but probably only made like 2 proper saves.
Yeah, you'd say so.
That's until.
Noise level is rising. The corner in. Came off the top of Gareth Barry's head. This is Terry. Just a little too hasty from Johnson. Lampard. Clipped through for an onside. Wayne Rooney! Denied by the woodwork.
I think he thinks he might be offside, and that's why he scuffs it, hits it early. As if the keeper get a touch,
Fingertips.
Oh, that was the chance. That was the chance to make everything right in the world again, finally.
It was Rooney. Corner for England, clear to Lampard in the middle of the pitch. He spots Rooney's run back into the box, which all the Slovenia defenders have missed. And he's free. He's got just Handanovic to beat. He's basically on the penalty spot. Takes a touch and strikes it in the same movement. So Handanovic can't settle, but it bobbles and bounces. And yeah, he makes a great fingertip save onto the post and behind, millimetres away from his first World Cup goal ever. And the return of those superpowers. He only needs 1.
Yeah, only needs. Well, that's what you think. Like, if he gets 1, his confidence will be so high, he'll score 1,000. There's no problem with that at all. And you just think, that was the moment. I remember watching that and just going, this is it. It's going to happen. Shit.
Yeah. I do have to say at this point, England could be quite a few goals ahead, like maybe like 3 or 4 goals ahead.
Yeah.
Obviously, still only 1-0, but it's actually more similar to the USA performance than the Algeria one. England are playing well. Not much is happening, but they're playing fine. It's just such a strange style of play. Like, compared to that opening game, it's so direct. Instead of using Heskey and Rooney as 2 kind of link-up strikers, freeing Gerrard and Lampard, they're just banging balls into the box, and Rooney and Defoe are kind of both playing like Defoe.
And I'm really not exaggerating when I say it's like watching a League 2 game at time.
Yeah.
A League 1 game or something, because you're like, well, what?
Had to correct yourself there.
Yeah, no
not quite
disrespect to League
Two.
1. Yeah, but like you're thinking to yourself, like, this is it. This is the England team we thought was going to go and win the World Cup for England, and they're just playing this kind of like, just awful, of like nothing football, really. Like with all these players in there, and you think we can't do anything else with them. It's just nothing. And then as we kind of move on, the night starts to draw in. You can see it getting slightly darker on there. And England, if England concede, they're out.
Yeah.
The other game in the Group C is still 0-0 at this point. So at the minute, USA are going out and Slovenia will progress with England. That is until...
Knocked down by Dennis to the back of it. He's got the space. Terry recovered. Another chance. This time Johnson in the way. And it's wide. Wow.
Well defended, England.
Terry first. Johnson second. Standing firm when it mattered. And look at John Terry. That is real commitment to the cause.
Oh, we are just about still breathing.
England somehow survive. I mean, yep. So we'll go through it. England Public Relations Officer John Terry to the rescue here. It's Barry. He loses the ball high up the field, and England they get themselves back into a shape.
Yeah.
They're just about dealing with it. A cross comes in to the box, and Dedic, there's a tall lad it's come on, beats Matthew Upson with a flick onto Novakovic. Novakovic turns Terry, and he's left him on the floor, looks to get it with his left foot. Terry makes a really good block, in fairness, and the ball comes back to Dedic, who has another shot, blocked again, comes to Corrin, blocked again, and somehow goes wide. In the process of all this, following up on his good block, John Terry is so keen to show why he should be England manager. He dives to the ground to block the ball with his own head.
Yeah. Famous moment, really.
Again, this is the moment I remember of this game,
Yeah.
probably more than the Defoe goal, because he is just anything possible to show how kind of committed he is. I mean, he gets nowhere near it.
That would have killed him.
But
That
people- yeah.
genuinely would have killed him.
But people like talk about like this of like, oh, wasn't it great when he blocked the ball with his head? We didn't do that. He actually missed it.
Yeah.
It gets Glenn Johnson. It hits, but
And when Phil Jones does the same thing, it's a joke.
it's stupid. Yeah, I think. Yeah, well, yeah. I guess he just hasn't got the press behind him, or isn't as good of a player as
No,
what John Terry was. But
Both are true.
yes, but he's still got that thing of like, I remember watching this and just laughing so much amongst my like, while I was trying to like stop scraping my fingernails off your settee or something, just thinking it was going to go bad.
Yeah, God, that whole defensive section was so last ditch. Our defense is really threadbare, and they haven't really been tested. And you think, thank God.
Yeah.
The replay shows Novakovic is offside as the header comes in. So if they would have made that count, it would have been given.
It would have given it, yeah. It was again before VAR, so they kind of say it would have been offside if they'd have spotted it. So if that would have been given, that would have been it's a goal that England have conceded and it's an offside goal,
yeah,
but there's no
yeah.
VAR. But in the replay we see there is a black line that's kind of drawn, and you're like, oh, so you've had this technology for ages, you've just not used it at all.
It's just been for the TV studios.
Well, maybe I don't know what the stream we watched it from, but they've got some they've got some good technology, and if they're putting this black line in.
Because this game would have been on BBC, wouldn't it? I think the
Would have
first two
been
were on ITV.
Yeah, it would have been only
It's a
fair.
shame. Still 20 minutes to go, and England they're holding on now. For God's sake, this is what we've come to. We're holding on.
Yeah, holding out for a hero just
One
to
of
save
those
us.
goals, one of those chances would have made it all so much easier. Because I had forgot until you just mentioned that. Yeah, a goal and we're out.
You're done at this
1-0,
point.
1-1 isn't good enough.
No, not at all. It is do or die, as we say. Finally, the English public are appeased, and John Terry readies Joe Cole on the sidelines. I'm just saying that John Terry's the manager now because he clearly wants to be. Stuart Pearce gives him his final instructions, like he's showing him like a bingo card or something. It's just looks so weird. What the hell is he going to say to him, really?
Yeah, and he's coming on for Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, Rooney looks absolutely knackered as he comes off the bench, onto the bench, replaced by like an older version of him. So Joe Cole's older than Wayne Rooney at this point, but you look at them both and you just think, well, Rooney's older than you, surely.
Yeah.
And it's not even close, really. There's probably 8 years difference between these two.
Oh, it's not. It's all going so England.
Yeah, they're back to just treating the ball like a bomb, which is something that I've found out England do quite a lot as we've been doing these podcasts. That's the most annoying thing, where they just get the ball and just kick it high and wide into the air just to give themselves like a minute of breathing. But
My dad always used to say how much he hated that. He was like, I
Yeah.
can't watch it. I can't watch it when they start doing this.
what have you found since doing this that you hate?
It's a bit of a. It's not on the players in terms of performance wise, but it's the crowbarring. The crowbarring
Yeah.
of big names in. And it's always happened. You look back as well. There's it's so mad that Capello did it.
Yeah, of all people
That
to
he
be
fell
like
for it, like.
Yeah, I think fell for it is absolutely right. And I think you do see with managers, they kind of get so blinded to what's going on in front of them. They can't really step out and think about it. Maybe that's lesser true with international managers, but even like the successful ones, like you look at Southgate, has Southgate himself now fallen into the pattern of these guys have done it for me before when he came in and kind of changed all that? Has Capello now done it when you need to play well to be in my team and all this kind of stuff? But it's like, you're not going to drop the big players. Like, you wouldn't have been surprised if he should have dropped Rooney for this game for his first two performances, really.
When you look at us getting rid of Sven-Göran Eriksson in 2006, then not qualifying for Euro 2008, then this, we may as well have just kept him.
What, Sven?
Yeah.
Well, he wouldn't have been worse than McLaren, clearly.
exactly.
He could not have been worse than
It
McLaren.
couldn't have got any worse.
It just couldn't.
It really couldn't. I mean, okay, it couldn't have gotten worse if we hadn't qualified for this. But we probably would have qualified for 2008. And this.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tough qualifying group. But yeah, you think that there's a couple of games England should have won along the way there a bit differently that you thought Sven or someone could have done.
This is the era, though, isn't it, now, where we'd always go like, thing is, consecutive quarterfinals. Sven
I mean, what more do you want?
Yeah, what more? You look back and you're very glad of it.
Yeah, well, I remember that in the Hodgson years. I remember us just going, just give me a quarter final. That's all I ask for. And now we've got that. We don't want it.
I think Sven would have been doing the exact same with this bunch of players. So, except obviously his would have been way more fun, a much more happy camp.
Probably, yeah.
Slovenia then, they keep coming.
Yeah, it just feels like one lapse in concentration and Slovenia are going to be in. There's a couple of times where England just give the ball away and Slovenia are running at them. And if they're a better team, they're punishing England with this as well.
Yeah.
They're so sloppy in possession. And again, I don't mean to get on Gareth Barry again, but it's like he's running underwater or something at times. And he must be dying on his arse out there. You think he's only had, 80 minutes to come back after weeks and weeks off? Why are you not giving like a Carrick or someone else just to come on and just shore things up who's got legs?
Yeah. They do try and shore up a bit with bringing Emil Heskey on for Jermaine Defoe.
He's got legs.
He's got legs,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But again, it just feels like Capello going, yeah, you've got your Joe Cole. Not giving you Rooney, though.
No, not having any of this. I mean, you've also got Heskey wearing red and the red top in long sleeves with the white cuffs. Instantly, my favourite England player on there because they've all got short sleeves on and the kit just looks better long sleeved.
It's very true. It's very true. It's getting very, very, very mucky out there as well.
Oh, we're so close to the end now. And there's a shot of Capello on the touchline screaming and patrolling his like technical area like he's Simeone, like a caged animal.
Yeah.
It's grim. It's grim at this point.
He's probably going, if he's a caged animal, he has an opportunity for them to release him from that cage if they just concede.
release the Capello.
Yeah, but like he wants to technically stay in his cage.
Yeah.
By getting through.
Yeah, well, he does. And I looked away for a second at this point, and I saw someone on the floor, like with their arms in their face, just like almost like they were screaming. And I thought it was Capello, but I looked around. It's David James. He's just collecting the ball, and he's just trying to waste a few seconds before England can give it away again.
Are we there yet?
This now is Novakovic. That's 3 minutes playing. That's England through. They've beaten Slovenia. The job has been done. Team England is together and marching on. Developments in Pretoria as England celebrate. The news comes through that the United States have scored against Algeria.
We're there.
We're there. We're through to the knockout stages.
Oh my God!
It's
England.
all just going to be just fine from here.
Just fine. Hallelujah. High fives all round, actually. And Capello's chaps, they're there.
Like the alliteration there. Why would they never call that?
Yeah,
Capello's chaps.
Oh, that's what it should have been. Yeah, big hugs for the lads who scraped through relatively easy group. It doesn't matter how they get there. It just matters that they are there. And with that win, they secure top spot for themselves, setting up a possible tie with Ghana.
Hold on. What's that? What's that? Oh my God! That's the US of A's music! Those sneaky mofos.
Unbelievable. In the last minute of the USA-Algeria game, USA snatch a late winner, and that dumps England into second spot.
With a header, Howard gratefully claims it. Distribution, brilliant. Landon Donovan, there are things on here for the USA. Can they do it here? Cross, and Dempsey is denied again, and Donovan has scored! Oh, can you believe this? Go, USA! Certainly through! Oh, it's incredible! You could not write a script like this!
And instead of playing Ghana in the next round, England are going to play
Germany.
Oh,
It's all set up now, isn't it?
We were so happy all those moments ago. Don't you wish we'd have got knocked out?
It's all happening.
Germany were flying in this World Cup as well.
Yeah, new revolution Germany as well. So this is a Das Reboot era Germany. It also puts England on the harder side of the draw as well. So to get to the final, they'll have to play Germany before games along the way, potentially against Argentina, Spain, and Brazil. Bring it on!
Bring it on!
Are we ready?
Yeah. So the aftermath then.
Yeah, quick bit of the aftermath here. USA's late winner dumped Slovenia out of the tournament. Slightly cruel on them. They would have reached their first ever World Cup knockout stage at the second attempt, so you do feel for them, but they were crap in that game.
Yeah, they were, to be fair. I do feel for them though. So agree on both points. Yes. Lampard said Capello had told the team to play with more passion and pace prior to this game, adding, that was the difference between this game and the two previous games. We play this way for our clubs. It's why people regard the Premier League as one of the best and fear it when we all play at our best. If we play with those qualities, then we've got a good chance. So is he saying we have to be reminded to do the same thing we do every single week?
Kind of, but you're then kind of thinking, well, what does that even mean? Play
Yeah,
with
it means
more,
nothing.
play with more passion. Where was that in the first two games? And I think this is one of the ideas of why people are so annoyed when it's like you don't feel like footballers care.
Yeah.
Like if you need to be reminded why you're doing this and why you're out there doing it at a World Cup, and now you can perform just about.
Yeah. On his goal, Jermaine Defoe said he was lost for words. He said, what a moment. As a young lad, you dream about doing this one day. I was focused before the game and we won, which is the most important thing. It was a must-win game, a cup final. You approach the game differently. The lads were fired up. We said in the changing room to set the tempo, put them under pressure, and we started to pass it after the goal went in. It was brilliant.
They do it a bit more after the goal goes in. Until then, they're still panicked.
Yeah.
And if they'd have conceded first,
And the last 20 minutes or so,
yeah, it's just hoofball, keep what we've got, and they're not even good.
set the pace, yeah.
Yeah, set the pace in
Wayne
panicking.
Rooney's gone off knackered. Gareth Barry's a mile bit behind everyone else, setting that pace.
Gareth Barry's on an IV drip at this point as well. Capello said he thanked the invitation of alcohol for the win. So he said they were allowed to drink beer before the game. You can ask them. It's true. I changed something and I used my imagination. So when he says before the game, I don't think he means before kickoff.
No.
So I think beforehand he'd said to the players, because alcohol was banned apart from when it's his birthday maybe, and it was just a case of, right, well, have a drink before the game, as in the night before, relax, just try and do something a little bit different to what I'm usually, and kind of like letting it go. I mean, where's this going to end? Are they going to go into that Germany game just massively hanging after a 3-day bender? It
on
worked
crack.
last time.
Yeah. Something different, and I use my imagination. We are all now heroin addicts.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to beat Germany. Rooney was withdrawn before the end of the game with an ankle injury, so another fun race against time for England, and Rooney, who was slightly improved in this game.
Yeah. Slightly improved, yeah.
Nice to be taken off with an ankle injury.
Love it.
Yeah. And we are going to be back in a few weeks for the continuation of England's all-encompassing, all-conquering, all fun, all action, all drama World Cup 2010 campaign. And up next, as Nick said, we have Germany.
Yes.
One more question for you, Nick. God, it feels like we've been here a long time. That was you, Nick, as well, not, by the way, not Munich. No reference to Germany. Was this England?
Yes, I think it is. Just about getting the job done and getting to the knockouts. It's getting there by hook or by crook for England.
Yeah, for me, this is the real deal, England. Getting through, but why? At what cost?
But why would we do it?
What is there to look forward to? Ghana, that would have been fun. I'd have been up for that.
Hey, I remember being really ready for this Germany game and thinking, "Come on, we can do this."
Yeah.
they're not much. Look at all these young players. Who cares?
Yeah, they're probably bloody already growing pubes. I don't know. Something. They're not Steven Gerrard, are they?
Yeah, exactly. They're not these lads.
Well, we'll see. 2010 World Cup. 2010 World Cup group stage. You've been a pleasure. Listener, thank you so much for listening, and we'll speak to you all soon.
You may be a stranger, that's what time